Okay. Testing, testing. Alright. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am testing a brand new audio recording system. This is the High-Rise Elevator Lover, and normally I would be doing a live stream right about now, but I decided I would test out this new Voice Recorder Pro app, which I'm going to start using to basically do a lot of recording from now on instead of doing videos per se, because let's face it guys, my visual quality sucks. And audio is basically how I live my life anyway, and you guys will get a chance to see how a blind person lives from a blind person's perspective when I'm out recording elevators and transit. May even record walking around a couple cities, how I can show you how I get around and how I do things. Not to mention, I just checked out this when I was about to record this. One of the big reasons I'm doing audio is saving space on my phone. Ooh, that's a big reason for doing that. And saving space, of course, is a big deal for me. I've kind of done some math and just checking some things out and just doing some tests and stuff with recordings. When I film videos, usually 10 minutes on a video is 1 gig, okay? 1 gig on this, just 1 gigabyte. You know, I have very low storage already on my phone. But 1 gig at the default bit rates and everything for MP4 audio, not video, but MP4 audio, which I'll be exporting through Dropbox, which will get it onto my computer. Awesome, I love tech. And just 1 gig of this MP4 audio will basically give me 3 hours and 20 minutes recording time. Isn't that nice? 3 hours and 20 minutes versus 10 minutes. 10 minutes, for example, which is probably going to be the length of this recording or something similar, 5 megs. 5 megs for 10 minutes. Oh gosh, this is going to be so easy to upload when I'm done. Not to mention, I have the ability to pause, so if I want to cut an audio clip rather, not a video anymore, but if I want to cut audio clips into segments, all I need to do on this is hit the pause button. Only downside at present seems to be the fact that it uses the headset, not headset, but you know, on iPhones, how they have 2 speakers, how they have the ear speaker and the main speaker. Well, this is using the ear speaker, sadly, which means listening to voiceover. Of course, sighted people aren't going to care. I mean, you're looking at the screen and you tap on this, but that's not me. So the one downside I've noticed so far is the pause button issue. I want to talk about YouTube live stream today because I just tried to do a live stream earlier today. Today take with a grain of salt. It's now Wednesday because it's after midnight here. I'm recording this. I'm going to upload it as soon as I can just to test the fact that I can do it. But my issue was connection issues, data and Wi-Fi. You know, vice versa, back and forth connecting on YouTube livestream. When I went to finish, it just ended up in one giant epic fail and apparently never posted. So yeah, the beautiful part about no one actually watching it when it was live, it kept saying I had to reconnect because I was losing audio or video, probably video because duh, what takes up a lot more data when you're trying to stream? That was a real bummer. So one, it probably would have been garbled as hell, and two, it just didn't stream well. So I decided not to do that, not to mention it heats my phone up like heck. There's one accessibility issue with YouTube livestream. The first time I tried it, there's a Schindler live stream I have. It's up there. It was done last year. I haven't uploaded my 2017-18 stuff, and I will be getting to that. Literally, I'll be getting to that in this not live stream anymore, but I'll be getting to that in this discussion. And I'll call this video my August update. I'm getting to that in this discussion, and I will get into the YouTube live stream a little bit. But the YouTube live stream is what I'm going to discuss first. And if you'll give me 1 second, I'm going to take a little drink, water. That's better. There, I can talk a little bit better. Alright. So YouTube live stream, when I first tried it that time, it was not, there were no buttons I could read once I went live. It was just one big giant mouse. I closed the app and it uploaded just fine. Well, today there was only one problem with one button on there so far as what I could tell. The switch camera button, it wouldn't tell me what camera I was using to begin with, so who even knows? Obviously not me. And why should the creator of the live stream ever know what camera he's using? Well, YouTube really doesn't have blind people in mind, even though I'm on there constantly, all the time, and I've uploaded a lot of videos. Google in general, it's not just YouTube. Google Chrome has had accessibility problems. Google Maps has had accessibility problems. I love it when all these people think new is better. So we're going to make something new, and we're going to change something. It doesn't matter that the something that was there worked, but we think new is better. So we're going to change it, and we're going to release it, but without checking to make sure all the bugs are out of it first. That way we bring you the most satisfactory, frustrating experience possible. It seems to be the motto of the day for basically everything tech these days. Newer is always better. Whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Apple, whether it's Google, those three big tech giants, newer is always better. Not necessarily. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. Whatever. Well, anyway, back to my videos. So, if any of you, there were like 40 something views on that live stream, or that last live stream, the one with the Schindler elevator. So if anyone's seen that, if you're one of the 40 people and you're watching this, going like, yeah, what was that? What was that? Well, that was an elevator at the Rose and Shingle Creek Hotel. I still haven't put a description on that thing, by the way. I've been so lazy. I've got some 2017 content, like New York City content. By the way, remember filming videos is terrible on this thing, so like I got like a couple of videos and like ran out of space. I filmed the 2nd Avenue subway between Lexington Avenue, 63rd Street, round trip to 96th Street, 2nd Avenue, like a lot of people have. Filmed the F train from Lex 63rd to 4750th Rockefeller Center. If any of you watch New York subway videos, I'm huge into public transit as well as elevators, and I love New York City. It's got both. I mean, come on. They've got one of the best subway systems in the world as far as I know, for especially for blind accessibility for a lot of their new subway cars. They have the best subway announcement system that I've heard in the entire country, including DC, Atlanta, LA, Chicago. They just have the system that I think works the best. Their bus system had always been lagging behind, but I've been watching a lot of new bus videos, and their bus system's picking up. The only problem with their bus system, as far as how they're doing the accessibility on it, is they're putting in these really obscure areas. I doubt many of you who listen to my streams or my elevator videos even know where 120th Avenue and 234th Street is in Queens, but that's where they're running an accessible bus, instead of right down 42nd Street through the heart of Times Square, where people going to the Intrepid Museum would have to take the bus or walk, i.e. tourists. And, people who could actually benefit from automated announcements in a city that they may not know. Why should we care about those people? They only bring in a bunch of revenue, right? I mean, tourists are terrible. Why should we care about what happens to our tourists? I mean, it's not like they're paying for anything, right? It's not like they generate revenue and growth, or have any impact on the economy whatsoever in one of the most famous cities in the world. So why should we cater to tourists? That just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Well, now that I've done my New York bus rant, as in why they should have had them on the announcements on the M4, the M42, instead of the only Manhattan bus that has them, it looks like, is the M15 SBS down on 2nd Avenue, and who the heck is going to take that but someone who lives in New York? Except a transit person like me, who, if I'm in there again, and if the weather's good, last time I was there, the weather was terrible. It rained the first day. The second day I didn't walk around much, but that was the only good weather day. Then the Thursday was like the high was like 30 something, and Friday it was like 20 when I left the building. So yeah, but I'm one of those people who will literally go out of their way to find a accessible bus to ride just for transit, fanning. But that's not the average tourist. The average tourist doesn't care about transit as much, as long as it gets them where they need to go. And granted, there aren't that many blind tourists, but still, if you're going to talk about a blind person who wouldn't know their way around the city and who would benefit from having announcements telling them where the bus is, it would be a tourist. Ding, ding, ding. Someone who maybe doesn't know where they're going. Someone who doesn't know any of the bus drivers. Someone who doesn't know what stop he should get off at. I wonder. Do you know anyone like that? There's probably a couple million people a year that go to New York that are like that. But why should we care about them? Alright, enough of my ranting. Well, I got some New York City subway videos, and I think I might have gotten a World Trade Center elevator video. I just need to double check to see if I do. And let's see, I said I got that. I rode a lot of elevators. I rode World Trade Center, Empire State Building. My hotel was only 18 floors, but I got a hotel in Midtown Manhattan, January 2017, for $88 a night. Cheap as hell. For Midtown Manhattan, southeast corner of 7th Avenue and West 33rd Street, right across from Penn Station. Bullseye. Right in the center of Manhattan. I mean, you just don't get hotel deals like that, like, anywhere. I mean, $88 a night. You'd be hard pressed to find a better deal that gives you your own bathroom, for example. All right. So I did that videos. The Second Avenue subway, Lexington Avenue. I filmed the L train, and I did that from 8th Avenue to just outside of Manhattan, and that's when that fabled "oops, I ran out of video" happened. I ran out of space. It was a good L train ride too, because the normal AC fans, the outside and inside fans, they were off for a decent amount of that at the beginning, at least. So it was pretty interesting. Those R143s are nice, but I did ride the L all the way out to Canarsie Rockaway Parkway, back to Union Square. That day was a lot of subway fanning. So I got up early. The first day, I did the M, the E, all the way out to, I took it out to the airport because I transferred to another E train because that one was having announcement trouble. And I like to hear all the announcements working. So I took that E train to World Trade Center, did the World Trade Center, took the tube back to my hotel because I needed to charge my phone. And I didn't have my charger with me. Smart me, right? That's a smart thing. And then I went up to, what did I do? Yeah, I think, when I left the hotel, of course I got back on the subway, duh. I'm trying to think of where I went after that. And it might have been late enough in the day that I went to Olive Garden to eat. I ate there twice. I didn't eat many meals in the city because, well, one, I kept costs down, and two, I was always on the move. I didn't want to end up in a specific place for too long of a time. Where did I go? I know I jumped back in the subway system and hopped on the 2 train. I know that night I took the 2 to Flatbush and back, and I'm trying to remember where the heck did I even go that rest of that day. It's kind of gone. Like, I don't remember at all, because I think when I did the World Trade Center stuff, that was in the morning, and bordering on early afternoon. I hadn't eaten. I probably stayed at the hotel for like an hour or so. I got my phone charged, hopped back in the subway. I don't remember where I went after that. Because Thursday was the day I did PATH in the afternoon. So that was my big PATH experience, which that was kind of fun. Maybe I'm getting those days confused. I'm trying to remember if I did. No, Thursday was the PATH day because I think I walked to the Empire State Building Thursday and not Wednesday. Yeah, because I remember my feet being tired when I got back to the hotel. And yeah, so that was Thursday. Thursday was a fun day. Thursday I got up early again, took the 2 to Times Square, went down to Union Square, took the L full trip, went over to 8th Avenue, back to Canarsie, back to Union Square, and then took the N to Astoria Ditmars, took the N all the way down to Coney Island, took that same N train back to Union Square, then had to jump a 4 train to Grand Central because I needed to do 2 things, relieve myself and charge my phone, and they have an Apple store, so you can plug in and charge your phone without difficulty there. And then I hopped on the 4 to, I think it was the 4, I took the 59th Street, took the N to 49th Street, and there's this Olive Garden at the northwest corner of 7th and 47th, 50 feet from the southwest entrance to the 49th Street subway station on the Broadway line, which is technically on 7th Avenue at that point. The NR&W train stop there. And I hopped into that. I went into that Olive Garden. I'd eaten there twice. I ate their dinner the first night, and it was technically a lunch dinner the second, or not first night, rather, the second, third nights. It was fun. It was a very nice Olive Garden the way it was located. And then Thursday I went down to Herald Square, and I took the Journal Square line, and this is kind of funny. So I didn't know path protocol. Oh, and also my phone isn't like heating up out the wazoo right now, which is just amazing, like it would be doing for a live stream. But I took the Journal Square path line all the way out to Journal Square. And what was me, my normal experience with New York subway is you wait on the train when it gets to the end of the line. If you want to turn around, you just sit there, and the train will turn around. My experience hasn't been the train will pull into the train yard to turn around, and that's exactly what happened here. The path Journal Square path train leaves the platform, and well, because like they always tell you everyone get off the train, but they never say the train's going to the yard on path. In New York City subway, they always say the train's going to the yard. So the door shuts. I'm alone on the train. I'm the only passenger there now, and the train starts moving. You're like, crap. This train's going to the yard. Luckily for me, it was just going there to turn around. And the Path crew, by the way, I didn't film on Path. Port Authority police didn't bother me at all. I had great experience. The reason I want to do that is I wanted to get to the other side of the platform, and I'd heard sometimes that, like, well, I think at Herald Square doors will open on both sides of the train, but I guess the trackage was different. Obviously, I couldn't see the setup, so I didn't know what was going to happen. I'd never been on Path before. I had no prior intel, no knowledge whatsoever. So the people walk through the train, and I tell them, yeah, I'm sorry, I thought I could get off onto the other platform back there. I thought you were just going to turn around. I didn't understand you were going to the train yard. They were cool with it, because, I wasn't from there. I was just a tourist. And they went back around. Because I did that because I wanted to get on the World Trade Center line. The World Trade Center line was fun. Well, so was the Gerald Square line. They had some nice turns in Manhattan. The World Trade Center line, I took that over to World Trade Center. It goes all the way out to Newark Penn Station. At World Trade Center, they have a loop that you ride the train through. Like, the train doesn't just, when you say the train turns around, it's not the driver goes to the other end of the train there. That train literally turns around, just like the 6 goes through a loop at the end of Manhattan, but they usually get all the passengers off. Well, this train turns around with all the passengers on it, which is even more fun. All the passengers on the train, that train goes through a loop and then spins its way around right out of the city. And I rode it all the way out to Newark Penn Station. That was a pretty far trip. And getting back to the platform to go to the other way, well, that wasn't as simple as it sounds. 2 escalators and an elevator later, with the assistance of someone who was going to a connecting train in Newark Penn, I had to go out of fare control into Newark Penn Station on that level. Newark Penn Station is pretty big, actually. So just from what just the part of it I was in was 3 levels. We went down 2 escalators. Then the guy showed me over to an elevator and said goodbye, and that elevator led to the platform going the opposite way. So it's like I had to go down 2 floors and then back up 1 to get to the platform that was directly underneath the platform I got off the train at. And the reason was I had my experience with the Bath train yard and I didn't want to go to another one. So that's why I did that. Well, that was interesting. I'm just trying to remember what I did Wednesday afternoon after the World Trade Center after that whole thing. I know I ate at Olive Garden, and I don't think I did much else. I probably rode one of the subway lines. Not sure if I took the Q again or did something else, but I know I was on a subway line. I can guarantee you that much. I was definitely on a subway. I ended up Friday morning. Well, Thursday night we came back to the hotel. There was a pizza place right next to it. The bellhop showed me, and I went in there, grabbed a couple slices, and ate. And I heard the announcements on RT announced like there is an Uptown Local 1 train to Van Cortlandt Park, 242nd Street, like that. I heard those announcements, and I'm going, crap. There's a subway entrance right there too. Like literally 10 feet away from where I was sitting, there was a subway entrance, right there. And I had been walking a block up from my hotel to get into the subway because I'd gone up to the up end and then gone down under and then back down because there was an elevator up at southwest corner of 7th and 34th. I was going in that way. Rather than going into the subway entrance that was like 50 feet from my hotel. Granted, that subway entrance is stairs, and then it also dead ends onto the 1 train platform, which is not somewhere I really wanted to be, but it would have saved me a little walking in the cold. And I discovered that Thursday night, and then Friday morning I used it. This is the last funny thing that happened to me in New York. I went to take an Amtrak train. It was my only time on Amtrak. I rode Carolinian economy class, 13 hours down to Charlotte, which is the closest city where I live. You'll be getting transit content from me there. And I take the suitcase and check out of the hotel. See y'all. Walk out the door onto 33rd Street, which I discovered is a lot easier to use than the door onto 7th Avenue. 33rd Street door, it's not far from 7th Avenue anyway, and it's just that much closer to everything. So that was nice. And I walked down 33rd Street. I walked into that place. The pizza place was closed. I heard, like, I've been given some impression that they were open later than, or earlier than they normally were. Oh, whatever. I didn't care. That wasn't a big deal. Went down the stairs, got out of the cold, thankfully. And then I ended up on, of course, the one train platform. Where else would anyone want to be but the one train platform? It's like the best place in the world, right? Not really. Well, I had to go through the turnstile and get onto the one train platform there. And there were several people coming in through that exit. And when it wasn't like I was the only one going down that particular set of stairs at that particular time, but I don't know if there was another exit or something to another part of the street. In fact, there probably was another exit onto the other side of 33rd Street, on the other side of 7th Avenue. Well, not the other side of 7th Avenue, but the other side of 33rd Street getting onto that platform, there probably was an exit. I'm pretty sure there was. So anyway, I'm walking into the station. And there are other commuters around me. I'm going to go through the turnstile because I still have my MetroCard, so I have money on it. So I'm going to take a shortcut through the subway to get into the train station. Now, I decide to do something really stupid here. And I swipe my MetroCard, and I have my suitcase in my left hand. Well, not hold, like I'm wheeling it, so I'm wheeling it with my left hand. Got my key in my right hand. And I go to push through the turnstile. I'm just wheeling my suitcase right behind me. And if any of you know what a turnstile is like, you can imagine what happened next. My suitcase got stuck in the turnstile, and I couldn't get it out. And a passing commuter took pity on me, but just followed me. So we needed to get through the thing in the first place. But he just followed me and decided to help me out and lifted my suitcase up and my suitcase had to jump a turnstile. So if your suitcase jumps a turnstile, is it committed a crime? Anyway, that was a little funny story. My New York trip was that was my favorite time in the city so far. I just wish I'd been there with better weather, but it's the only time I've been there on my own and just actually had more than 12 hours to explore the place. So thanks for listening to my whole commentary, and I'm going to check this recording out, see how it did, and that's it.